This message is just for you. You are good enough. This is the episode for you. What are you going to do with all these resources that you're squirreling away? How are you going to make sure that future you gets them when the time is right? So, in Animal Crossing, a video game that I'm sure you've heard me talk about before because I love it, one of the features is that you can send gifts and postcards at the postbox. A system obviously run by dodos who also run the airline, to other animal villagers on your island, or to real-life friends that you play with. But there's also another option which is really interesting to me, even though I've never actually used it myself yet. You can send a letter to your future self. And I started thinking about what we send to our future selves and how effective we are at doing it. We're so good at squirreling away in the present, finding things and thinking the perfect time will come. But when the perfect time does come, do we remember that it's there? Psychologist Steve Taylor, in his book Back to Sanity, tells an anecdote of watching tourists at the British Museum in London as they stood around the Rosetta Stone. He recalls that they were intent not on looking at the artifact, but on filming it, of keeping it on their phones or their cameras for some kind of future benefit, maybe to revisit or to share the experience later on. It was almost that being there was actually an investment for future them. That was what they were so devoted to, that they were willing to forego the full sensory experience of being present in the moment when it was right in front of them. And that made me consider all the resources that we squirrel away in our language learning. Most of the time, we're doing it not to get stuck into them straight away, but because we think they might come in useful for our future self. But the thing is, a lot of the time, we aren't being strategic about it. We're like a squirrel who snaffles all those acorns away, only to forget that we ever put them aside in the first place. How many of us have so many things saved? Things we want to read, things we want to listen to, people or accounts that we want to check out, daily series of videos where we would love to be listening to them every day, but we haven't properly listened to a single one yet. But we stash them away anyway, because we imagine we're laying the groundwork for future us to pick up later. But that future self will forget. That future self will be too busy stockpiling resources for her future self. So, wouldn't it be so good if we had a system where once a week, or at least really regularly, we scheduled in time to visit all the treasures that we'd collected and maybe pull one out to play with it for a while? And more than that, once a semester or a few times a year, we went through the things that we'd saved for future us, the version of us that was more advanced or had finished her assignment or whatever it was, and we looked at what gifts past us had left for that exact moment. That moment we hit B1 level, that moment we pressed send on the assignment, that moment where we had a full week off. Because as it is, it's like hundreds of letters from past us are going unopened. So what if, instead of hoarding in a flurry of, this could be useful one day, we got really intentional about what we wanted to send future us to do or to read or to look at? And also, what if we collected our resources in a way that sent letters to future us, letters that said, when you get to that creative project, These are the things that I've handpicked that I am so sure are going to help you. When you reach the summer holidays, these are the Netflix series that I am so sure you'd love because everybody's talking about them and I really want to see them, and I'm so sure that me in 3 months will love them too. Or when you start formally studying grammar, I'm sending you a letter with a couple of YouTube channels that I'm so excited for you to explore further. The person that runs them seems to really get us. Because when you're squirreling, you're making these investments and you're sending those gifts to future you. So make sure future you gets them. And when you send those notes or you save those files of things to check out later, don't forget to tell future you that you're thinking of her and you believe in her. Tell her why you're sending them, because she's probably gonna forget. And if you like what I do, please support me. Hit the subscribe button or send the video to someone who comes to mind who you think would love some language courage too. It makes so much difference in helping me to spread language courage to more people. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you back here tomorrow.